like to begin with a prayer and then remain standing, if you will, join us in the pledge to the flag, and we'll call on the sheriff to open the meeting with prayer.
Our Heavenly Father, thank you for bringing us here. Thank you for bringing us here to serve our community and to make the best decisions that we possibly can to support them in every way. God, I ask that you be with each of these men and women as they deliberate the actions that are to be taken. God, I pray that you be with our community and heal our community, God. With the world the way that it is now, we live in such a wonderful county that we are shielded from it in ways. But I pray that our citizens will keep a mindful heart of what's happening in the rest of the world, God, and try to support it in any way that they can. And God, I ask that you be with our leaders. Give them the intestinal fortitude to make the right decisions regardless of whatever the most popular consequence would be. I ask these things in your precious name. Amen.
Amen. If you will join us in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We certainly welcome you to the commission meeting. Appreciate your interest in the business of our county. We have some new faces that aren't typically in our meetings. We're glad to have all of you here, and the same old faces as well, I guess. Thank you for making the effort to join us. We have no public hearings scheduled, but we do have some comment from citizens. Mr. Fred Harton is here. Fred, I think, had an interest in speaking to the commission about a paving project that he would like to see us take on. Mr. Fred, if you don't mind, we'll ask you to come to the podium over here. And is that good?
You want me first?
Yes, sir. You're first on the agenda. Yeah. Glad to have you with us today.
That way, Mr. Harden, it takes the pressure off everybody else.
Yeah.
This is my first time of ever attending. All of the questions that I'm going to have, Greg could have answered, but I did want to be here today to meet the other people that we have working for us. Greg is, I've known him all of his life, and anyway, we have a project that I would like to see paved is Rawson Ridge Road that goes from Loango Road to Plywood Mill Road. There's 5 3/10 miles of dirt road. There is not a bridge, not a major spring, branch, waterway, anything. There's 5 culverts that would have to be maintained. And my question that I had mentioned earlier, Greg could have answered for us. What is the procedure to start process of either getting funded for paving of that, or in other words, what's the mechanics to go into to all of that?
Right. Well, Mr. Harton, I think you're in District 4. Is that right?
Correct.
Yeah.
And
So
part of Rawson Ridge is going to be in District 2, I believe,
Okay.
also.
well, that ought to work to your advantage. You have 2 commissioners working with you, so that'd be a good start. I mean, typically the procedure is to simply petition the commission as a starting point, and then we can get the engineers to put a pencil to it and determine cost per mile or cost to do the project. We have a number of projects prioritized based on house count per mile and that sort of thing. and I don't think Rawson Ridge is at the top of that list in District 4, but we certainly can review that. I'd love to ask the commissioners, District 2 or District 4, to make comment on it or thoughts about this project and
You will take one and pass it around.
and its importance in your district. Tommy, you have anything particularly on this?
I'm sorry, he was speaking to me.
Well, we're catching you by surprise, but, you have thoughts on Rawson Ridge as it lines up with other district projects and priorities? Anything you wanna ask or tell us on that?
No, I don't have my sheet right here. Share
I'll
with
let you
Tommy.
borrow mine.
I appreciate you, sir. Looking at the density, the home to mile density, I mean, that plays a large part in how we determine paving projects, that are exclusively on the county's back financially. I don't think that, unfortunately, Rawson Ridge isn't high on that list. Not that there isn't a warrant for, wanting to get it paved. I understand that. There are other options. I know, the engineer's office has worked with other communities to have them pay, gather money, collect money, whatever, and pay the materials to get portions of roads paved.
I've passed out, wanted to get y'all's comments on that. Is that something that would, number one, would be legal to do? Number two, y'all think that would?
It certainly be appropriate. This is a way of petitioning the commission. We'll just note your being here today as the start of the petitioning process, and then if you want to bring a list or a batch of folks that express support for it in addition to yourself, that would be appropriate and adds a little bit of impetus to us to try to look at it and move on it. We have a little bit of new paving money because of the Rebuild Alabama program that went into place about 3 or 4 years ago, and it provides about $800,000 of resurfacing or new paving funds to us that we've not had previous years. And so that gives us a chance to at least consider more projects than we have in the past.
And if we could get the engineer's office to look at it a little further to give them an idea, I mean, it don't have to be to the penny, but, just a rough idea of what would need to be collected, because that is one of the questions he's asking on here, if the residents would be willing to, and if so, how much would they be willing to put in?
I know you mentioned the density of it, but there's another factor that has to be taken into account. It's a feeder road that brings folks from throughout that part of the country into town, so I think we have to factor that in. Traffic count as well, so we can look at that.
There's, appears to be currently 54 active mailboxes that is serving that road, but then there's feeder roads that goes off of it that would get another 12 mailboxes.
Yes, sir.
I know that in time past, more so than this year, because we have not had that much bad weather, but school buses have had a good bit of problems in time past on traveling part of that road.
Okay. All right.
And you think this would be in order then to, if we sent this in addition to a letter for them to mail back, and
That
even to
that
the
would
point
certainly,
of having
yeah.
these stamped to where they wouldn't have an excuse of not having
Yeah,
a stamp on it.
I certainly think that's appropriate to do and would be a good step in the right direction. Any other commissioners have a question for Mr. Harden or comment?
No, I'm with Tommy on that. I think we get Lynn to put a little bit more pencil to paper on there and just kinda see, and especially, you know, think Lynn, we've done it before with citizens of the county who wanna, like in small roads that some of those have stepped up before and helped with some.
I can break it down, Mr. Hart, where, I can take large landowner should pay more that has more frontage on that road. I can actually break down percentage wise of each landowner and what their participation would be in the project, if you wanna break it down that way.
So if you wanna do that, Lynn, and just get that back to Mr. Harton over the next few weeks, and then that'll give you a good information to start from. We appreciate you coming,
Have one in
sharing with us
place
today.
in case anyone needs to,
Oh, easy.
Thanks, sir. All right, we have no awards.
I would like to thank y'all for your time.
We appreciate you coming in today, Mr. Harton. Good to see you.
Thank you, Mr. Hart.
We'll try to get the information to you pretty quickly. We have no awards or presentations today, but we do have some elected officials with us. We'd like to welcome Mayor Becky Brackey from the city of Opp. Mayor Brackey, if you would come forward, you had imagine this, a funding request.
I know, y'all never get those, right?
No.
Never. But I wanna thank you for letting me come today, and I wanna thank you also, I can't stand behind the podium, I'm sorry, I can't stand still. But thank you for what you do for the county, and especially lately with our bridge being closed, y'all making sure that Opine and McDaniel Road was taken care of with the heavier traffic that's going in. Just to give you a little update on Opp, I think Opp has seen more investor and consumer confidence than it has in a long time. With realtors are just having a heyday, but I think we've even ran out of homes to sell and about. But we've got a lot of retirees coming to Opp. And I think the reason, well, I know the reason, we're close to the beach, and they're moving up from the beach because they don't want the traffic. We are, the last I looked, we were like the 10th safest city in Alabama. Yeah. We have affordable housing. We have, and I won't stay on this, but I'm gonna mention it, a hospital is the most important thing for retirees. They wanna be near a hospital, and Andalusia and I are very, very lucky that we've got 2 rural hospitals still standing. And I'm gonna just put a pitch in right here, y'all got some money, and I think a great way to spend it would be on COVID money, would be on both hospitals. We make sure that they stay stable and all. But, I've kinda been lately thinking about the young people. Now, we love retirees. They spend money, they pay taxes, it's great. But for us to improve our workforce and our schools and our athletic programs, we've got to get young people in. And young people are looking for the same thing the retirees are looking for. Safe city, affordable housing, close to the beach, so, and a hospital. They need the hospital too. But, we've got to have more activities. If young people are gonna raise their children and all, they want activities for them. And I'm sure everybody in the room is probably aware of the complex that's going up on the bypass. Gonna be a great complex. We have 4 volleyball sand fields. We got, the, volleyball, softball, soccer, football, baseball. It's gonna be a fantastic, and it will benefit the whole, county, not just Opp. But lately, like last summer, I kept hearing people say, we're going to Elba, we're going to Andalusia to the splash pad. That's where our children wanna go. So that's what I want. We've got land donated to us right across the street from our city pool. Great location to have it, near the park, near the city pool. And, I know that Brock Kelly, when he moved to Andalusia, his wife said, I will not move anywhere unless I have a public, which she didn't get, and a splash pad. So it's very important for young people, they're moving in, to have things for their children to do. And so that's what I'm coming to you today to ask for your help. I'm soliciting other, people or, I'm trying to think of the word I'm trying to say, entities to help us with that. Because I'm involved in a lot of big projects right there. And it would help a lot if we could get the community involved in helping us do this. And you've got in your packet the price and what it will cost, and also what it looks like. And so I would really appreciate y'all considering helping out with that.
Mayor, your estimated project cost is just over 200,000, is that right?
And it will really be more than that. I've talked to Jason, and I thank Jason for coming, our city planner. We want a pavilion there, and, so sure, they can have birthday parties and really fix up the park, maybe with a walking trail. So the city, there's gonna be more expense than this. This is the actual path.
Okay. Commissioners, y'all have a packet in front of you. You've heard the mayor's comments and requests. Any questions for her while she's at the podium?
You say it's gonna be not where they building the fields now, but it's gonna be,
No?
We plan on having a splash pad at the field, but it will be one that just, if you've ever been to Desk and Commons, just the water, just we're gonna have a playground out there. But this one would be a more major, and it'll be in a central location for all the districts. Some of them can walk to it and all, and especially with it being next to the swimming pool.
Okay.
What about, and I may have missed this, Mayor, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
What exactly are you asking of the commission? You're asking funding, I'm sure. Do you have a figure?
No, I didn't put a figure. I want you to give me as much as you can. I could put a figure on there, but I didn't. But I mean, I figured that y'all know, what you can do, and maybe what you've done for others, and also.
Well, and I'm inclined to do anything for the kids. I've said that since I've been sitting there on this commission. We did help with Andalusia. Therefore, I feel obligated to help with Austin. But I also think that we have to sit down and see where we're at and what we can do to help with Austin. Greg, Karen making better help with that idea. But
And I'm not asking
For a commitment today.
for a commitment.
Let me ask you this, what is your schedule? Are you looking to do this over the next 18 months, 24 months?
Ooh, yes. I
About-
wanted it done by the summer.
Of this year?
Yes, yes. And, the guy that I'm working with, he needed to start in January,
To do that,
but he
yeah.
didn't get me all of this until recently. And so, I would like it as soon as possible.
Do you have some ADECA funding that's gonna help you with it, or do you think there is some, or is it?
Jason, I know what is your opinion on that? He always, DECA. I think I maybe used.
It'll be a year before that does anything.
Yeah. Just wondered if we,
Yeah, and I want some commitment so I can get started on it and know, so I can give him the go ahead to get started.
well, we did help, Andalusia, and our commitment to them, I think, was a certain amount over a 5-year pay period. We just did it in installments. And I don't know if the commission would like to do it that way, or, our cash position's a little bit better. We might could do it in less time if we're inclined. What I'd like to do is look at it, let the commission look back and see what they did with Andalusia, and then try to maybe take action on at the next meeting, if that's okay. I think we can pull the information together that quickly.
that'd be a good idea.
This was just sent out to share with us last night, so that
Right, I know.
commissioners have just seen it for the
Yeah.
first time, so. Any other questions for the mayor while she's here? Anyone?
Which side of the pool is it gonna be on?
It's going to be, where the city pool is.
Yeah.
Okay, you know where Donaldson Park is? It's west of the pool. The pool is here, the little road, and then right here is
Behind,
Donaldson Park.
across the road from the
Yes,
pool?
across the road. It's a real pretty piece of property.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Mayor, we'll plan to have it on our next agenda if nothing happens, and make a commitment if the commission is inclined, and I think I think we want to, so we'll give you some numbers
Okay,
and a plan
I appreciate
to
it.
move forward. All right.
And I thank y'all again.
Appreciate the update on the city of Ock. Glad things are going well.
I have to leave, but I gotta go to the city.
Okay,
Jason's over here.
okay. Well, that'll be fine. Thank you for coming. Judge, you have anything?
Never vote for me, we'll be in somebody else.
Good.
See,
Sheriff?
okay, she didn't request any, so.
It leaves you something. Should've waited till she got out, hadn't we? Sheriff, you have anything at this time? Okay. We appreciate y'all being here. And, we have nothing under the consent agenda, I guess, so we'll move on. No old business. Under new business, consider board appointments for Covington County Rec Board, page 2 in your packet, commissioners. What are your wishes on those appointments? That board all, looks like they all come up at one time based on what I'm seeing. I know we've had conversation. I think most of them are willing to be, to serve again. Maybe you've had other conversations. We'll entertain your thoughts on that right now. Who wants to
I have
address that?
one
Tony?
that has asked to come off because of his personal things that he's involved with now. Clint Veazey has asked to step down. I've had conversations with several about this. Brian Cox, who, if you don't know, is Jimmy Cox's son, lives in the Carolina community. He's got 2 younger children. Brian is a very fine young man, I think. I talked to him as late as yesterday for about the 3rd time. Brian is willing to serve, and I think he'd be a good choice. And
Okay.
in lieu of Clint stepping down, I would like to put that in the form of a motion that we put Brian
All right.
in Clint's
So
spot.
you're nominating Brian Cox, and, what about the other slots? Are you aware?
I have talked with Paul Watley,
Okay.
and Paul Watley definitely said he would love to be back on, and I think Paul has served on this board for, I'd be scared to say, it's been
A number of years.
a number of years, it has. And I have actually spoken with him, I didn't have these other names to reach out to them, but Paul definitely said he would love to be back on the board again.
Well, I've had conversation with Jed Blackwell, and Jed indicated that the others, to his knowledge, were favorable towards being reappointed, so I think we could reappoint the others unless there's somebody new that you want to propose. So you have Dr. Andrew Carter, Clint Veazey, who you're saying would step aside, replaced with Brian Cox, Shane Cook, Jed Blackwell, and Paul Watley. So, unless somebody has another name to consider, a motion to reappoint this slate would be in order.
I'll make that motion.
All right,
Second.
motion and second. Anybody else have anything you wanna bring up relative to this? If not, well, let's vote on it. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, those appointments are made, and we'll notify them of that appointment. We appreciate their willingness to serve. It's during certain times of the year, it's a busy board, so we appreciate the efforts that they make to provide recreation for our young folks. Next is, of interest to the sheriff, I'm sure, is a contract with Kimball for jail services, page 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 in your packet, commissioners, is the contract in question. Karen, you wanna enlighten us on this particular
I believe the sheriff was ready
package? Okay,
to speak on it.
Good morning.
good morning.
Kimball's has offered us great service in the past. We've always had them, Johnny on the spot whenever we had a problem. They'll be going to, basically from a server-based system to a web-based system, so access will be a lot more easier. And we can actually have better access and actually hold more data. Kimball's, has been our, I call it our little convenience store jobber for years.
So it's a commissary
It's the commissary.
service that they provide.
That's right, it's a commissary thing, but they also cover some other things in there,
Okay.
in reference to, the bank card system, they're part of that as well. I believe that was spoke about the last commission meeting. They've been good to us. The money's always been there, and I have no complaints.
So there's a commissary that's provided for inmates.
That's correct.
Families or whatever provide funding in a store account is what it used to be called. I don't know what it's called
And
now.
the prices are reasonable. There's they're as reasonable as what you would find in a convenience store.
And so they're able to go to a kiosk, I guess, in
Right,
all
they go to
the
a
blocks.
kiosk, they make their order, and
place their
Tuesday
store order.
evenings, they're delivered to them.
And, there's a percent of that flows for law enforcement, not to the sheriff personally, but to law enforcement. That's a long-standing practice. And then within his office, he's able to use those funds to better the operations of the jail or the sheriff's department. And the part of this that is, of special interest, and I assume where you compare from company to company is the commission, is that right?
That's right,
Okay, and that's 38.5%.
that's right.
For all the things that is the offer or proposal from Kimball. So are there changes from what we've been operating under as far as the percent or the other terms?
No, there's no
The
changes.
proposal is a 3-year term with year-to-year renewals at the end of that
Yes,
3 years,
that's correct.
subject to either party opting out if they choose with certain steps at the end of each term.
That's correct.
And is the percent the same? The commission the same we've been having? Do you remember?
It's the same as we've been having,
Okay.
it's better than.
So it's really a
better than
renewal of that contract. Anything you need to mention on it?
I think Stephanie knows
Stephanie?
it.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have it, the copy of it with you?
No, I don't.
Look on, it's got the date stamp 7 on the bottom, it's number 15 on the contract. Could we get them to change where it says that any action would be brought in the General Court of Justice of Georgia, sitting in Troup County, Georgia? If we could get that changed to Covington County, Alabama, and then the laws of state of Alabama. And it's got a significant,
They're based out of Georgia, and I'm sure this is a generic contract. I did not catch that.
okay.
I'm sure this is a generic contract that, they cut and paste on, so.
And they've got on 10, is that there's a significant limitation of liability, but it's also hard for me to conjure up, since we're not a business, how this would even come into play. But y'all may wanna read over that and make
Okay.
sure that we don't have any issues with
You
it.
said part 10,
Yeah, paragraph 10.
Paragraph 10,
Page 7.
page 7, paragraph 10, okay.
'Cause it,
page 5 of the contract.
yeah, it talks about neither party shall have any liability for indirect, incidental, special, or consequential damages, loss of profits or income, loss or corrupted data, or loss of use of other benefits, however caused, even if due to that party's negligence, breach of contract, or other fault. And that really is a breach of contract, that's when you name all those out, but it applies to both of us too, so it's not one-sided, I'll give
So
them
with,
that.
so with those two amendments,
15 is a deal breaker, 10 I would ask about, and it's hard for me to conjure up a scenario where that limitation of liability would be an issue for a jail. But give me time, I can come up.
but this is, with the exception of those two amendments, everything else is fine. And thank you for seeing that. I did not see that Georgia in there.
So Commissioners, subject to a change on paragraph 15 to local jurisdiction, and a little further review on paragraph 10 by the attorney and the sheriff to satisfy her concerns there, if there are any. I mean, the only thing I can imagine is if you're unable to supply product, therefore we're not getting a
We're not
commission
held
because
liable.
it's not
They're not.
selling. and
I'm
then-
gonna use the instance of ramen noodles.
Yeah.
There's, spoiler, there's gonna be a hard, ramen noodles are fixing to become scarce. And in a corrections facility, ramen noodles are very important because of the little pack that comes in of the spices. There's been some setbacks with production of ramen noodles, and they're going to supply their most needed buyers of these noodles before they will the other ones. So the corrections industry takes up a smaller percentage of it, so they're gonna supply Walmart before they will the corrections industry. We'll just we'll make adjustments on it. That would be something that would,
Something might factor in.
right.
So you've heard the two limitations. Anybody else have questions on this that you want to ask or raise or comments about it? Or is there a motion to approve the contract subject to those two things being reviewed closer?
Make a motion to approved.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
Second. Questions by anybody? Comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That's approved.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Sheriff. Consider a solicitation of bids or rock. Lynn, that sounds like it comes under your area.
I just have two, but our rock bid's fixed to expire here in like a month or so. But again, like we were discussing, like Tom had mentioned earlier about some of our citizens in the county are paying to have a lot of these roads paved. And this 825B material is not on our bid list. I need to add that, solicit bids for that material.
Just that material or all the other rock
Well,
as
it'll
well?
be all the others eventually, but that contract, our agreement is around for like another month. But I need to get these out now in case we need to buy that material, before that bid actually runs out. It'd be like an addendum to that, but, we just need to get it in there and it just run for a month or so until the other one runs out.
Is there is it typically the same supplier that covers all of those different
Yes, it is.
rocks that you need? Or whoever the supplier is there, can we go ahead and approve on the others too? Approve the, inviting of bids?
Well, the contract, I mean, it's for another month or so. I mean, they're still in that time frame, and prices will go up. So I'd like to kind of keep it where we are right now until we
Okay.
can do that.
So he's requesting,
There is-
approval to invite bids on one particular rock.
Well,
I don't know
it's
what's-
two, there are actually two. The other one's is what I call it's more of a byproduct or it's what I call dirty riprap. It's riprap that can't be removed from heavier soil. And what we found out, and we've used this in the stuff in the past, but, we've, a lot of our deep ditches, a lot of erosion stuff, we can get the stuff packed in those ditches and it holds up well. We just got to put
Okay.
some on Harts Bridge Road. And it's worked out pretty good for us. So I need to put out for those two materials.
Be good if we could end up with all of them on a single bid ultimately, so maybe at the end of the existing bid, you'll be able to, look at how long the term is on this one
I got you.
and see if you can roll it into the other bid when you renew. But is there a motion to, grant approval for soliciting bids on the rock that he mentioned?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Questions? Anybody want clarification?
Not at this time.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, that's approved, Lynn. So, the next item, and you hang with us in case there's a question. At the last meeting, we approved an emergency purchase, if you will, of motor graders, used units to get us through until our new fleet can be delivered. It's being delayed 8 or 10 months due to supply chain problems that we hear about every day in the news. We're affected by it as well. And so, just final steps in that purchase, that emergency purchase, Commissioners, page 9 and 10, you can see the results on the bids and the units that we spoke of at the last meeting, or the low bid from Flint Equipment.
Yeah, it's the same one it's same number, same everything.
And our intent is to just pay these out of existing cash instead of financing them, and we anticipate selling them at the end of that 8 or 9 months as soon as the
All
others.
but one unit. I think we want to try to keep one.
Maybe,
unit,
okay.
yes.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is 8 units.
8 units.
So one of those we'll hope to keep, but this will give us a chance to continue operating. These can be delivered quickly. These are 3,000 to 4,000 hour machines, almost 5,000 on some, so they'll do the job for us through the summer. Is there a motion to approve the purchase of these?
Make a motion to approve.
Again, it's used units from Flint. Is there a second?
I'll second.
And we talked at the last meeting about the total purchase price, a little over $1 million worth, but this is just finalizing that documentation. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, that purchase is approved. Lynn, the next item I think is under your department too, is the disposal of some surplus property. Commissioners, page 11 in your packet is a list of some items. What do you, share with us on that, Lynn?
Last time, I think we agreed to dispose of it through gov deals or either, wood auction, but there are some materials that we have on the yard that's just strictly scrap. And I'd just like to amend that to cover, for scrap as well.
So we need to be real careful on we agreed to dispose by auction at the last meeting, and these items aren't subject to auction.
Yes.
They need to be hauled off in a container
That's correct.
or back of a flatbed. So you see the list here, everything but the New Holland tractor, which is going to J.M. Wood for auction.
It's there now, yes, it's there.
And then
now.
the other items you see on here are scrap items. Is there a motion to approve
With the
scrap?
scrap item, will you just let somebody come in and get it, Lynn, or will
We
we?
generally take it to the yard, to their yards.
All right. Any idea how much these will bring, all together?
Just whatever.
$7,500?
A lot
Less.
more than that.
Really?
At least I hope it is.
Yeah. All right. Commissioners, you see the list. Any questions for Lynn, or is there a motion to approve disposing of these surplus items with the scrap dealer?
I'll make a motion. And any of the scrap you got down there that needs to go? I know you had a lot of stuff just piled
Several
up.
years of it, but it's just been sitting there, and like I said, it needs to.
Do we need to include, like you said, all that scrap too?
Okay. You have an old military truck in that?
I think there is.
There was a question on whether it was a pickup truck or a military truck. Make sure we get the right truck. Don't scrap the wrong one.
Okay.
So y'all clear that up for us if you would. Was there a motion? Did you make a motion, Michael? One of you did, somebody did.
Michael.
Was there a second? I didn't catch that.
I know
I
I'd
got
asked him a
caught up in
question.
that military truck.
I'll second.
If nothing else, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
I've
Sold.
got one item that's not on the agenda.
Yes, sir.
And, we've,
Excuse me.
I secured this pipe for our 107 project up there, and it's been sitting in their yard for a long, long time. And, cause materials, like you've heard everybody talk about how materials are getting kind of scarce, and they could've already sold the pipe, so I went and got them to go and send the pipe down, but what I need to amend our rebuild transportation plan to add, to cover the cost of this pipe for our 107 project we're doing up there at Pigeon Creek. I've ordered this, I'll make sure we can have it here when things can get rolling, we can get that pipe in to start with and open that whole road up
All right.
in there. But I wanna amend our rebuild plan to add the cost of this pipe.
So the project's not being done through rebuild funds, but just this one portion of it, is that right?
It's just, it can buy materials, and that's
Okay.
what I'm gonna do, I'm
All right.
using that to buy materials for
So
that
is there a
project.
motion to amend the rebuild plan for this year to allow them to purchase this pipe under that?
And it's roughly, I think, $20,300 is the
Okay.
cost of this culvert pipe, so.
I'll motion.
There's a motion and a second.
Me and Tony did.
Motion by Tommy,
Joint.
second by Tony. Anybody have questions? Y'all have questions for those two? Or for him? Okay.
I don't see Pigeon Creek.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, that's amended.
Have you heard anything, Lynn, now that, have you heard anything from the contract with the timber company yet?
No, I reached out to her, she was on vacation all last week, and she came back today, I was hoping to have something from her this morning, I may have it when I get back, but she has not, I sent that message out, I think I got a response from her 5 days before the last meeting, but she has not responded. I reached out to her, but I got an automated, email from her, so I'm just waiting to hear back.
The message she sent to you before the last meeting was it's been approved, everything's good, they were just getting the sign, the signatures on the documents, and we just don't have those back from their legal department. Tip. Okay. All right. Anything else?
We're just hoping to open up, Frank Tilsel Road, we're trying to get it ready to put our surface treatment on today or tomorrow.
Good.
We're getting our final phases to get that road open back that we've had closed for a while, so.
All right. Don't forget the Rawson Ridge Road.
Already
All right.
on that, yeah.
Good. Thank
But
you.
I'll say this, just real quick, we're doing the, Murray Road and the, Cross Road, landowners are paying to have that done. And also I have, two landowners on the Sassy Lane over in, at the crossroads there on 70 and 77 up there. We're
Yeah.
looking to do
on
and the landowners are paying
Cedar
to have
Grove.
that done,
Yeah.
so.
Okay, very good. Thank you a lot, Lynn. Appreciate what y'all are doing.
Can we back up just one
Yes,
thing
sir.
when we were talking about the, going to the auction and all?
Scrap.
With the sheriff, did we ever get all those vehicles that we had surplus there, or we?
We talked about it, we mentioned it last meeting or meeting before, maybe in the meeting you was absent, and they was gonna get them all. Best I can recall. I remember having a discussion on it, but
Kip has been working with the sheriff's department, I believe, to try to get those identified. The ones that we had on our list, had not been stripped yet. And, the ones that were stripped were not on the list we had, and they were gonna have to go back and see whether or not those were previously identified, or if we're gonna have to bring those to surplus soon. But we were just trying to get it all together first before we brought it in halfway.
Okay, anything else? Anybody else on staff have anything? Okay, commissioners, Tommy? Tom? Anything
Yes.
else? Mike? Kenny? Mr. Attorney? Ms. Karen?
There will be a monster truck event at the arena this weekend.
All right.
It's hosted by the Kiwanis Foundation. Any questions need to be diverted to their office.
Okay. If there is nothing else, a motion to adjourn would be in order. Thank you, Kenny. We stand adjourned.